well, by Saturdays will be in the 50s as we inch closer to the elections. President Akufo-Addo is tasking the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensa, to ensure that the 2020 general elections are conducted in transparent, credible and fair manner. According to him, he doesn't want to be a president of crooked elections. He made these comments as he filed his nomination at the Electoral Commission's offices today.
Running mate and I represent a party that from its very inception in 1947 has been committed to democratic governance. We've been unwavering in our attachment to democratic values and principles. So for us, the Ghana of today, the multi-party, open democratic system, is a matter that responds to our deepest convictions and values. The step that is being taken today is a necessary incident in democratic governance. We're counting on you to be the arbiter and to hold the scales, even for all contestants. What the Ghanaian people are expecting is that the election of the 7th of December will be an election that is conducted in peace, in freedom, in security, and in transparency, so that the results of the election will reflect the will of the Ghanaian people. Elections are not meant to be decided by you or the officials that work for you, who are the referees of the contest.
A quick one with Kwesi Parker Wilson, who is on the ground for us via Zoom. Hello, Parker. Well, right, you've been monitoring the processes at the EC headquarters. Bring us up to speed on the process. We know that a lot more after the president have gone to file theirs.
Well, so that's correct. Before the president filed the nomination, 2016 independent candidate Akufo-Addo came in to file a nomination on behalf of Alfred Walker, who will be an independent president candidate for this year's election. And it was quite surprising to the media that Akufo-Addo, who many had thought that was going to again contest an independent candidate, but actually has become a running mate to Alfred Walker. Not shortly after that, the president and his entourage also came to the Electoral Commission to file their nomination. And just as we heard the president say, the Electoral Commission should ensure that these elections are conducted in a transparent and credible manner. Now, just a while ago, the presidential candidate or the flag bearer for the Ghana Union movement, that is Akufo Chabosom, a while ago, filed his nomination with the Electoral Commission. Now, he asked the EC to prove her neutrality going into this election. According to him, there have been a lot of allegations against the chairperson of the Electoral Commission as in wanting to break the election in favor of the governing NPP or try to suppress the NDC in those elections. Well, for him, he wants the chairperson of the EC to prove her neutrality after going to the election, and that the credibility of those elections lies in the hands of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. So these were his words to the chairperson of the commission. So he's filed, the EC has ended today's filing nomination. And in fact, we're expecting Hassan Ayerga of the APC, that's the APC flag bearer, to come and file his nomination as well. We are told he was going that to on Thursday. So on Thursday, we expect Hassan Ayerga to file his nomination. And also, a former president and flag bearer of the opposition NDC, John Dramani Mahama, is expected to file his nomination tomorrow here at the Electoral Commission. So if you ask me today, Akufo-Addo, Nana Akufo-Addo, the president, and the flag bearer of Ghana Union Movement have successfully filed their nomination forms. And Gifty, before I go, the EC makes us understand that they are only receiving the form. It is not like they've cleared them to contest in this election. In fact, a team has been set up to peruse the document, to validate the information that have been provided in the document. And so, if the information in the forms are correct, that is when the EC can say that indeed they are successfully found and have been cleared to contest in this year's election.
Indicated the technical teams that have been set up to validate the nomination forms will be brought in. Let's listen to how it was communicated at the Electoral Commission's headquarters today.
We are gathered here to kickstart one of the most important activities in the lead up to the December 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. Indeed, without this activity, the Commission cannot run the election. And here I'm referring to the filing of nominations by presidential candidates who are seeking to contest the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Regulation 7 of CI 127 enjoins a presidential candidate to complete and sign 4 copies of the nomination form. Additionally, the forms shall be signed by no less than 2 persons who are registered voters in the area of authority of each district assembly. The president is required to designate a person to serve as his or her vice president. Furthermore, he or she is required to deliver the forms on a date agreed by the political parties and the Commission. Distinguished guests, as part of the Commission's efforts to ensure a transparent, credible, fair, and yet accountable process, the Commission has developed a detailed checklist that embodies the criteria to be satisfied by the presidential candidates as prescribed by law. The template will guide the scoring and awarding of marks by the teams established by the Commission, who would scrutinize and review each of the nomination forms submitted. This year, the Commission has established 2 teams who have been tasked to review all the forms submitted. The technical team has been tasked to scrutinize the forms submitted to ensure that the presidential candidates meet the criteria as set out in the law, namely that the presidential candidate is at least 40 years of age, that he or she has satisfied all tax obligations, and that he or she has nominated a vice presidential candidate, among others. The second team, that is the IT team, has been charged with the responsibility of scrutinizing all the voter ID cards of the presidential candidates and their supporters to verify whether the candidates and their supporters are indeed registered voters. Both teams have been provided adequate training and orientation to carry out their functions as prescribed by law. The guiding principle for both teams is clear. They are to operate within the confines of the law. They are not to exercise discretion in the matter. Above all, they've been tasked to be fair and yet firm in executing their duties. We have no doubt that the process will be transparent, fair, and peaceful. Additionally, we are confident that the 5-day period provided for the filing process, as opposed to the 2 days provided in previous nomination processes, will allow enough time for presidential candidates to correct any errors identified in their forms. We believe that this would help eliminate the tension and rancor that characterize previous nomination processes. Mr. President and Mr. Vice President, we welcome you warmly to the Electoral Commission of Ghana once again, and we thank you for coming personally to submit your nomination forms.
Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah. Kwesi Parker wasn't still there. Let's wrap up with him quickly. Parker, you also spoke to the NPP party chairman. What has he been telling you?
Well, so the chairman of the governing NPP, Fred Blake, tells me that today is an indication of, in his words, for more for President Akufo-Addo to do more. And for him, he's quite set in his mind that with all the things they've done for the people of this country, the electorate will renew the mandate of Nana Akufo-Addo. And again, with some allegations against the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, especially from the flag bearer of the NDC, Fred Blake said says that Mr. John Mahama is actually frustrated, and that is why he's making some of these allegations. Now we shall listen to him.
As he spoke to Parker earlier on.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does today mean for the government?
Today means we are ready for the next 4 years. And we are going through the formalities. It should do. That's the constitution. That's the law of this country. That before you present yourself for the next round, that is for 2027 December elections, you must go through this process. Right. He's the first person to do so, to obey the laws and to follow what ought to be done. And he made remarks that he would prefer to be a legitimate. He doesn't want to be a president through any other unapproved means.
Troop result, as he put it.
That's what it is.
But
and that's what he's come with. The supporters, he brought his documents, he paid the relevant fees to be filed for filing and all other things. The president is a man who opposes the constitution.
But your main opponent and the flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama,
yes,
has consistently indicated that this EC intends to rig the election in favor of the NDC.
And that's what you people keep on listening. That's what the opponent of the president, who is getting frustrated, who doesn't appear, he sees the sign clear, and therefore resort to some kind of accusations, baseless accusations. And you seem, the media, seem to amplify those accusations. You should subject him to explain what does it mean that the EC intends to rig the election, not for himself, but for the president. Why is he saying so? And what are the reasons? I think you shouldn't ask me that. That's what the man says. And for me to reply to what you say, you must ask him, the presidential candidate, the former president of this country, that how is he good? This is transparent, clear, fair. The laws are clear and everything, the processes as we are going through, they will not be shortcut. Now what does he mean by that? I think you don't make baseless accusation, and you, the media, allow him to get away with it.
Finally, from what's the target for this year's election for the NPP? Last election, you won about 53%. Look, what are we looking at this year?
It's not an issue of looking for percentages. We want to win convincingly. We want to return a good number, very, very comfortable majority in the House, so that we can pursue what we are doing for this country and bring progress and prosperity for the nation. That's what we're about.
Thank you very much.
And it's been led by Nana Akufo-Addo, supported ably by his vice presidential Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.